Have you ever wondered why some people seem to drain the life out of you while others uplift and inspire you? What if I told you that as you age, who you allow into your life becomes even more crucial? Your time, energy, and peace are limited resources, and wasting them on the wrong people can have a devastating impact on your well-being. So, what types of people should you avoid as you grow older? In this video, we'll uncover the 8 types of people who can rob you of your happiness, your dignity, and your hard-earned wisdom. These individuals don't just take up space in your life. They can leave you feeling emotionally exhausted, undermined, and even trapped in toxic situations. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of who to stay away from as you enter this stage of life so you can preserve your mental and emotional health. You'll also learn how to set boundaries that protect your time and energy, allowing you to focus on relationships that truly matter. Don't miss out on this vital information. Your happiness and peace depend on it. Stick around to find out who these 8 people are and how you can reclaim the joy and serenity you deserve. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. 1. The eternal victim. The eternal victim is someone whose life revolves around a sense of perpetual helplessness. A helplessness that, unfortunately, they have no intention of overcoming. They are consumed by a mindset where, instead of embracing personal responsibility, they cast blame outwardly, onto everyone and everything but themselves. Life's obstacles, which could serve as stepping stones for growth and self-improvement, become nothing more than yet another reason to cry out in despair and point fingers. The fault is always someone else's, whether it's a difficult boss, unsupportive family members, bad luck, or a society that, in their eyes, is stacked against them. There's no real attempt to change, no effort to take charge of their narrative. For them, it's always someone or something else's fault, and that belief becomes the lens through which they view the world. But what's even more disheartening is the way the eternal victim thrives on the attention they draw from their endless complaints. There's an almost magnetic pull to their drama, a constant need to be heard and sympathized with. They often want others to feel sorry for them, to acknowledge their suffering, and to take on the emotional burden of their life's misfortunes. It's almost as if their identity becomes completely intertwined with their victimhood. Instead of seeing their struggles as an opportunity for self-discovery, empowerment, or even personal change, they choose to wear them as a badge of honor, something to cling to in the face of life's challenges. And in that clinginess, there's a subtle manipulation that takes place. They don't just seek support, they demand it, even at the expense of others' mental and emotional well-being. These individuals often operate like emotional vampires, feeding off the empathy and care of those around them. They pull others into their whirlwind of negativity, forcing people to constantly invest emotional energy into their endless need for validation and support. For a time, people may feel compelled to help, to uplift, to try to provide solutions, but this is where the real problem begins. The eternal victim never genuinely wants to change. They may seem momentarily grateful, even acknowledge your help, but deep down, they are not interested in action. They aren't looking for solutions or even personal growth. Their comfort lies in the role of the victim because, in that role, they are never asked to change, grow, or take responsibility for their happiness. They can remain stagnant, perpetually miserable, and still receive the emotional support they crave. What makes it even more frustrating for those around them is that this dynamic often leads to burnout. The people who try to help, to be there for them, eventually find themselves emotionally drained. The eternal victim, instead of using the help they're given to make positive changes, becomes more dependent, more fragile, and more stuck. And the irony? As they remain entrenched in their victimhood, they prevent themselves from realizing their power. They block out the possibility of self-empowerment, reclaiming their narrative, and deciding to take responsibility for their actions and lives. They lock themselves in a self-imposed cage, convinced that they cannot thrive unless the world changes for them. The energy they drain is not just a one-time event. It is a slow, constant process that eats away at your mental peace, your optimism, and your emotional reserves. The more time you spend with someone like this, the harder it becomes to maintain your peace of mind. The constant negativity, the refusal to see anything but the worst in every situation. It's exhausting. And after a while, you realize that staying in their orbit doesn't help them. It only hurts you. Choosing to step away from the eternal victim is not about being callous or abandoning someone in need. It's about self-preservation. It's about acknowledging that you can't change someone who refuses to help themselves. You can't continue to pour from an empty cup, and sometimes the kindest thing you can do for both yourself and the other person is to walk away. It's an act of compassion, not cruelty. It's saying, I can't help you if you're not willing to help yourself. It's a painful but necessary decision because, ultimately, the only person who can pull the eternal victim out of their pit of despair is themselves. Until they are ready to take responsibility for their own life, until they are willing to face their fears, their regrets, and their wounds, no amount of sympathy, support, or advice will make a lasting difference. Walking away doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about yourself to protect your emotional health and well-being. It means you understand that there's a limit to how much you can sacrifice before your soul is affected. And most importantly, it means recognizing that your peace, your growth, and your happiness matter too. We cannot be expected to carry the weight of someone else's pain indefinitely. Choosing to preserve your emotional energy and peace of mind is not selfish. It's a necessary act of self-care that allows you to keep moving forward on your path of healing and personal growth. 2. The manipulator. Manipulators are incredibly skilled at twisting your words and exploiting your innate kindness to suit their own needs. They thrive on the vulnerability of others, knowing exactly how to play on their emotions to gain control. Their tactics are subtle but powerful. They use guilt as a weapon, make you feel flattered to the point where you're blinded by their charm, and even go so far as to emotionally blackmail you, making you feel responsible for their happiness or well-being, regardless of your feelings or circumstances. This is their art, making you feel as though you are obligated to meet their needs, often at the expense of your own emotional or physical health. What's worse is that they don't respect your boundaries. They might pretend to, but deep down, they see them as challenges to be overcome or ignored. No matter how many times you try to assert your needs, they'll find ways to push past them, often with a dismissive attitude or a "you're being too sensitive" remark. Their focus is never on mutual respect or consideration but on pushing their agenda, with no regard for the consequences it has on them. They use your love, compassion, and sense of duty to entrap you in their web, making it feel impossible to break free. It's emotionally exhausting to constantly be on the receiving end of such manipulation. The mental strain of always wondering if you're being used or feeling the weight of their demands can chip away at your sense of self-worth. You may even start questioning yourself, wondering if you're just being unreasonable or selfish for wanting space or for saying no. This is exactly what they want, to make you doubt your instincts, to make you second-guess your needs. And over time, they begin to blur the line between caring and controlling, leaving you feeling lost and uncertain. But here's the hard truth. Allowing them to control you means sacrificing your peace and your well-being. You cannot allow someone to take advantage of your generosity and kind heart. While it's easy to think of love or kindness as something to be given unconditionally, the reality is that you must love yourself first. Protecting yourself from manipulation isn't just about saying no. It's about reclaiming your life and your emotional health. It's about understanding that your boundaries are not negotiable and that setting limits isn't a reflection of how much you care for someone, but rather how much you care for yourself. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Take a moment to truly reflect. Is this relationship draining you? Do you feel like you're constantly giving more than you're receiving? If the answer is yes, It's time to reclaim your power. Setting firm boundaries might be uncomfortable at first, especially when the manipulator throws a tantrum or plays the victim, but it is the only way to preserve your own mental and emotional well-being. Do not allow guilt to creep in. Their emotional games are not your responsibility to fix. You have every right to demand respect and dignity in your relationships, just as much as they have a right to ask for yours. In the end, it's about standing tall in your truth and recognizing that you are worthy of love that doesn't come with strings attached. A healthy relationship is one where both parties respect each other's space, needs, and emotional boundaries. Anything less than that is not love, it's control. And no matter how difficult it may feel, you owe it to yourself to walk away from relationships that seek to manipulate you, no matter how tempting their tactics might be. You deserve to live a life where you are valued, cherished, and free from the weight of emotional manipulation. Never forget that you have the strength to protect yourself and that you are worthy of peace, respect, and happiness. 3. The energy vampire. The energy vampire is a type of person who sneaks into your life with a hidden agenda, and before you know it, you're left feeling utterly drained, empty, and emotionally wrecked. They don't come in with loud demands or overt hostility. No, they often seem sweet, needy, or even charming at first. But beneath the surface, they are emotional leeches, constantly absorbing your time, attention, and energy without giving anything in return. It's as if their sole purpose in life is to bring their personal drama, negativity, and turmoil into your world. Each time you offer empathy, each time you lend an ear, each time you offer a shoulder to lean on, they take it, leaving you feeling hollow, as if your emotional reserves have been wiped clean. These individuals are never content to stand on their own 2 feet emotionally. Instead, they latch onto you, using your kindness and willingness to listen as their lifeline. They feed off your support, your caring nature, and your ability to empathize with their suffering. But the thing is, no matter how much energy you pour into them, they will never give back. Their world revolves around their own needs and their troubles. They expect you to continually provide emotional fuel without any regard for how much you're sacrificing or how much you have left to give. At first, you might not even notice how much they're taking. It starts with small demands, needing to vent, needing someone to listen, needing advice, needing help with their problems. But it doesn't stop there. Over time, it becomes a constant stream of requests and expectations, each one bigger than the last. You start to feel like you're on call 24/7, always ready to jump in and fix their emotional mess, only to end up feeling emotionally shattered yourself. Their negativity seeps into your world, and soon, their chaos becomes your chaos. What makes it even more challenging is that they often cloak their behavior in such a way that it's difficult to say no. After all, they need help, they need understanding, and they need compassion. Who could turn their back on someone in need? But what they don't realize, or perhaps what they simply refuse to see, is that it's not only draining but downright unhealthy for you to be caught in their emotional crossfire all the time. It's a toxic pattern that's impossible to break unless you consciously choose to protect your energy and set firm boundaries. And yet, when you finally realize the toll they're taking on you, it can be almost like a wake-up call. You feel emotionally exhausted, but in a way that isn't just temporary. It's as if you've been running on empty for so long that you've forgotten what it feels like to truly be at peace, to feel nourished, to feel whole. It's as if you're running on fumes, and the more you give, the less of yourself is left to give to anyone or anything else. You begin to notice how their presence in your life is draining not just your emotional energy but your physical energy, too. You're tired all the time, and even the simplest of tasks feel monumental because you're carrying so much emotional baggage that isn't even your own. The hardest part is realizing that no matter how much love or care you offer, they will never truly appreciate it. There's no room in their world for reciprocity, and even when they do thank you or acknowledge your efforts, it often feels hollow and insincere. You're stuck in a one-sided relationship where you're the giver, and they are the endless takers, leaving you constantly feeling unfulfilled, unseen, and, ultimately, empty. But here's the truth you need to hear. You are not obligated to stay in this kind of relationship. You do not owe anyone your emotional energy if it comes at the cost of your well-being. It's incredibly important to recognize the signs of an emotional vampire before they completely drain you of your vitality. You deserve to be around people who uplift you, who nourish your soul, and who share your emotional load, not just take from it. It's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to say no. It's okay to prioritize your emotional health over the demands of someone who doesn't respect your time, your energy, or your emotional limits. And as difficult as it may be to cut ties with these people, it's necessary for your long-term well-being. Once you choose to protect your energy and let go of the emotional vampires in your life, you'll feel a sense of relief and freedom you never thought possible. You will be able to focus on what truly matters: your health, your happiness, your peace, and your energy will be reserved for the people and experiences that truly deserve it. Don't let someone's negativity or emotional chaos rob you of the joy and peace you deserve. Protect your heart, guard your energy, and remember, you are worthy of relationships that lift you, not tear you down. You have the power to take back your energy, and once you do, you'll realize how much space you have for the people who genuinely appreciate you and for the things that truly matter. 4. The false friend. A false friend is a dangerous kind of deception, often disguised as something much safer and more reassuring than it truly is. At first glance, they may appear to be everything you need in a friend, someone who is always there for you, eager to listen, and quick to offer help. They seem to offer their loyalty with an open heart, and their support is unconditional. But beneath this facade lies a deep, dark undercurrent of dishonesty and betrayal. When you're not looking, they engage in the very behaviors that they pretend to be against. Behind your back, they whisper malicious gossip, spread hurtful rumors, and subtly undermine your confidence and reputation. It's as if they enjoy watching you stumble, their smile a mask for the true malice they harbor within. What drives a false friend to act in such a way? Often, it's rooted in jealousy, insecurity, or a desperate need for control. Perhaps they envy the relationships you've built, the love you receive, or even the peace you've cultivated. They may struggle with their internal battles, feeling inadequate and inferior, so instead of facing their demons, they tear others down. This behavior often stems from a deep need to feel superior or to hold some sort of power over others. It's a reflection of their inner turmoil, but it doesn't make it any less painful for the person who has been betrayed. Their motives are rarely pure. They don't wish you well, they wish for your downfall, all while pretending to be your greatest ally. As we grow older, our hearts grow more sensitive to the true meaning of loyalty and trust. The older we get, the more we crave genuine companionship. We no longer have the time or energy to waste on superficial friendships that bring us nothing but stress, confusion, and heartache. In our later years, we long for those who will stand beside us through thick and thin, people who we can trust with our most vulnerable thoughts and emotions. A false friend, especially in these years, is a devastating blow. The betrayal cuts so deeply because we've let our guard down, believing we were finally surrounded by those who truly cared for us. It's in these precious later years of life that we realize just how crucial trust is to our emotional well-being. When you discover that a friend you thought you could rely on has been secretly working against you, it feels like a wound that never truly heals. The hurt goes beyond the gossip or the rumors. They have attacked your very sense of security and your belief in the goodness of others. The emotional toll it takes is often heavier in old age, as we no longer have the time or energy to rebuild trust or relearn the painful lessons of betrayal. It can make you second-guess yourself, wonder if you truly know how to choose friends, or whether you've been too trusting all along. In the twilight years of life, you deserve nothing less than authenticity, sincerity, and unconditional support. There's no room for toxicity or hidden agendas. Every moment counts, and every connection should serve to lift you rather than drag you down. The older we get, the more precious the bonds of true friendship become. You should be surrounded by people who add joy to your life, who celebrate your successes, who comfort you in your sorrow, and who value you for who you truly are. The trust that you've built with the people around you is sacred, and those who betray it, especially in the later stages of life, are doing more than just damaging relationships. They're stealing the peace and security that you've worked so hard to nurture. Protecting yourself from false friends is not just a matter of being cautious. It's about protecting your heart, your peace, and your sense of self-worth. As you age, you've earned the right to be selective about who you allow into your inner circle. Trust is not just a luxury at this stage of life. It is essential. A false friend can shatter the emotional security that we desperately need as we move through the later years of our lives. Don't let their deceitful behavior rob you of the joy and peace you deserve. Be vigilant, trust your instincts, and know that you have every right to choose people who are genuine, who care for you, and who contribute positively to your well-being. Let go of those who bring negativity into your life, and make space for the kind of authentic, supportive friendships that will help you thrive in your golden years. You've earned it. 5. The chronic complainer. The chronic complainer is, in my opinion, one of the most emotionally taxing and energy-draining types of individuals you can encounter in life. No matter how great things may be going for you or those around you, they will always find something to grumble about, to focus on, or to be upset by. It's as if they are addicted to negativity, unable to experience contentment or joy because they are constantly searching for flaws or inconveniences, even in the best situations. They live in a perpetual state of dissatisfaction, and no matter how much they have, it's never enough. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. What's most concerning is that the chronic complainer isn't interested in finding solutions to their problems or working through their challenges. That would require effort, growth, and emotional resilience, none of which they are interested in. Instead, what they crave is validation. They want others to listen to their complaints, affirm their feelings, and join them in their misery. They don't want constructive feedback or advice that might help them improve. They simply want to be heard, but not healthily or productively. They are addicted to their complaints, finding comfort in the familiarity of their dissatisfaction. The danger in this is that their negativity can slowly begin to erode your sense of joy and appreciation. At first, you might try to be understanding or compassionate, offering support or suggestions. But over time, their constant complaints start to have a draining effect. What once felt like a simple conversation can turn into an emotional marathon, where you feel mentally exhausted just listening to the same cycle of negativity over and over. Their complaints may start to take up more and more of your mental space, leaving you feeling frustrated and even questioning your happiness. It's easy to start focusing on the problems they complain about, no matter how insignificant they might be, and lose sight of the bigger picture of all the things you're thankful for. It's an insidious kind of emotional manipulation. Their constant negativity casts a shadow over any positive experience, and before you know it, you're drained, emotionally disillusioned, and struggling to remember the good things in your own life. This doesn't just affect your mood, it can begin to affect your relationships, your peace of mind, and even your overall well-being. Being around someone who is perpetually unhappy can distort your perception of reality, making you feel like everything is just a little worse than it is. In my opinion, the best way to protect yourself from this kind of emotional drain is to create boundaries and distance yourself when necessary. It's not about being cold-hearted or dismissive. It's about choosing to preserve your mental health and your inner peace. You have to recognize that their dissatisfaction is theirs to bear, and it's not your responsibility to carry it. You can offer support when needed, but you cannot allow their constant complaints to consume your thoughts or energy. Life is too short to be surrounded by that kind of negativity, and you deserve to protect the space you create in your life. I believe the chronic complainer is one of the best tests of emotional resilience and self-care. It teaches you the importance of surrounding yourself with people who inspire and uplift you, people who are willing to seek solutions and focus on growth, even in difficult times. When you distance yourself from chronic complainers, you're not just setting a boundary. You're also making room for gratitude, positivity, and the people who genuinely care about helping you find joy, even in life's challenges. Ultimately, we can't control the attitudes of others, but we can control how much we allow their negativity to affect us. In my experience, removing toxic influences like the chronic complainer is an act of self-love and respect. It's a way of prioritizing your emotional well-being and allowing yourself the space to truly enjoy the good things life has to offer. 6. The user. In today's world, it's incredibly painful to realize that some people only view relationships as transactional, like an exchange, where everything is about what they can gain from you. It's especially hard when you realize this about people you care for or those you thought you could trust. These individuals only seem to come around when they need something, whether it's money, a favor, or emotional support. They don't make the effort to check in on you when you're feeling down or when they see that you need something. Instead, they show up when it's convenient for them, when they're in a moment of need, and they make it all about themselves. What's worse is that once they've gotten what they came for, whether it's the loan they asked for, the advice they were seeking, or the emotional attention they were craving, they vanish without a second thought, leaving you with nothing but a sense of emptiness. It's beyond frustrating to realize that after you've given your time, your energy, and your resources to someone, they show no appreciation for the sacrifices you've made. It's as if you were just another means to an end for them. They drain your emotional and mental resources with no intention of offering anything in return. There's no gratitude, no thankfulness, just a cold, calculated use of your kindness and availability. These people, sadly, make you feel like you're nothing more than an object for their benefit. They don't genuinely care about you or your well-being. They care about what they can take from you, and once they've drained you dry, they move on to the next person or situation that will give them what they want. This kind of exploitation can make you question the true nature of human connection. It's a wake-up call to just how important it is to protect yourself from these toxic dynamics. Relationships should be built on love, mutual respect, and a genuine connection where both people care for and support each other. If you're surrounded by people who only show up when it suits them and disappear when they've gotten what they need, it's time to seriously reassess who you're giving your time and energy to. Your heart, your kindness, and your resources are precious, and they should not be given to those who will only use them for their selfish gain. The real value in life comes from the people who show up not just when they need something but when they want to be there for you, without expecting anything in return. Those are the relationships that nourish you, that allow you to grow, that make you feel seen and heard. Surrounding yourself with people who offer genuine care, respect, and support will fill your life with love and positivity. In contrast, those who use you will only drain you and leave you feeling isolated and unappreciated. So, remember to protect your energy and put boundaries in place. Guard yourself from people who treat relationships like transactions. True, meaningful connections are built on mutual care, not manipulation or exploitation. You deserve to be surrounded by people who value you for who you are, not for what they can take from you. 7. The narcissist. Narcissists live in a world of their own making, where their sense of self-importance is not just inflated but is their entire reality. They believe that they are the center of attention in every room, the star of every interaction, and the ones who deserve all admiration, affection, and respect, regardless of their actions or how they treat others. It's as if they see themselves as an undisputed monarch, entitled to be adored, praised, and showered with compliments at all times. The problem is this mindset doesn't leave any space for you. Narcissists don't view relationships as mutual exchanges, but rather as a stage where they perform, where they can impress and seek validation from their audience. Unfortunately, in this scenario, you're not a partner or an equal. You're simply an audience member, a supporting character in their elaborate show. For someone with narcissistic tendencies, your needs, desires, and emotions are irrelevant. They have no interest in learning about your dreams, hearing about your day, or understanding your struggles. They're too absorbed in their own needs and egos to make room for yours. You could be going through a life-changing event, feeling lost or heartbroken, and yet they will have no empathy to offer. Instead, they will turn the conversation back to themselves, their achievements, and their desires, as if yours don't matter. This lack of empathy can be soul-crushing. Over time, you may begin to feel invisible in the relationship, as though your thoughts, your feelings, and your very existence are mere afterthoughts. The emotional toll of being around a narcissist is far deeper than just neglect. It's a constant erosion of your self-esteem, a slow process where you begin to question your worth. Narcissists have an uncanny ability to manipulate others into believing they are the problem. You might find yourself walking on eggshells, doubting your own emotions, or even apologizing when you've done nothing wrong. Every conversation becomes about defending yourself, and every encounter feels like an emotional tug-of-war, leaving you exhausted and vulnerable. The worst part is that they take and take without ever giving back. You give them your time, your patience, your love, and your energy, and in return, you receive nothing but hollow praise and an ever-growing sense of isolation. It's not a true exchange. It's a one-sided relationship that leaves you feeling emotionally drained and unappreciated. It's easy to fall into the trap of wanting to please them, to make them happy, thinking that if you just give more of yourself, they might eventually care for you the way you deserve. But this is an illusion. Narcissists don't love. They only love what others can do for them. They will never see your value, never recognize your needs, and will never meet you halfway. They cannot offer the kind of emotional connection that nourishes a healthy relationship because their emotional world is too shallow to include anyone but themselves. You deserve so much more than that. Your heart, your emotions, your worth. These are not things to be disregarded or trampled on by someone who only wants to extract from you. The painful reality is that narcissists will often never change. They will never suddenly wake up one day and become the compassionate, understanding person you wish they could be. Their inability to empathize and their constant need for admiration are deeply ingrained, and the longer you stay, the more of yourself you lose. It is essential, then, to protect yourself from these toxic relationships. Guard your sense of self-worth with everything you have. Don't allow a narcissist to tear you down, diminish your self-esteem, or convince you that you're not worthy of love, care, and respect. You have the right to be seen, heard, and appreciated for who you are, not just for how much you can give to others. Set boundaries, no matter how difficult that may be. It's not easy to walk away from someone who can make you feel special one minute and utterly invisible the next. But you must recognize that your emotional well-being is too important to sacrifice. If you stay in a relationship where your needs are constantly ignored and your worth is never acknowledged, you're not just sacrificing your happiness. You're sacrificing your very essence. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. The pain of dealing with a narcissist is profound, and it doesn't just disappear with time. But when you choose to protect yourself, when you set the boundaries that are necessary for your survival, you create the space to heal. You open the door to relationships where there is mutual respect, where your feelings matter, and where love is truly given and received. Life is too short to be trapped in the emotional prison of a narcissistic relationship. Walk away. Choose yourself. You deserve to be loved for who you are, and you are worth so much more than the empty affection a narcissist can offer. 8. The time waster. As we grow older, time becomes an even more precious resource. There's a certain gravity to it that you can't ignore. The realization that each moment is valuable, and the clock is ticking faster than ever. We begin to truly understand that time is not something we can get back, no matter how hard we try. This is why, when we encounter time wasters in our lives, it becomes deeply frustrating and even painful. These are the individuals who don't appreciate the significance of time, not just yours but their own as well. They are the ones who show up late without so much as a thought about how their actions might impact you. They cancel plans at the last minute as if your time doesn't matter. They expect you to drop everything at a moment's notice because they need something, yet rarely, if ever, offer the same in return. Their behavior is disrespectful and inconsiderate and shows an utter disregard for your time and priorities. At any stage in life, these individuals are toxic, but as we age, this behavior becomes even more unacceptable. Our time is limited, and the truth is, we can't afford to waste it on people who don't value us. Every minute counts, and when we are in the later years of life, the importance of meaningful, intentional moments becomes even clearer. The idea of letting someone take up space in your life who doesn't recognize this sacredness is heartbreaking. You may feel guilty for not accommodating them, but in reality, it's a profound act of self-love to guard your time and energy against those who drain it. Time wasters often think that their lack of respect for your time is inconsequential. They may believe their patterns of behavior, like constant tardiness or the ability to change plans at whim, are just harmless quirks. But the emotional toll it takes on you is real. The anxiety that builds when you know that you can't rely on someone to follow through on commitments, the frustration that bubbles up when you rearrange your life for them, only to be left disappointed yet again. All of this takes a toll on your peace of mind. More than that, it chips away at the trust and respect that should form the foundation of every relationship. The emotional burden becomes even heavier when you realize that time wasters are the ones who expect you to be constantly available for them. They'll call you in the middle of your plans, knowing that you'll drop everything to help them, to listen to them, or to simply offer them your time. They rarely reciprocate the same level of respect for your schedule or commitments. There's a sense of entitlement in their behavior, a belief that your time exists only to serve their needs. But as you grow older, you come to recognize that your time is not endless. You begin to understand that you can no longer afford to be generous with it toward those who take it for granted. It's critical, then, to establish boundaries. Boundaries aren't just about saying no to people. They're about standing firm in your sense of self-worth and making clear to others that your time is valuable. It may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're someone who has always prioritized others, but it's one of the most important acts of self-care you can engage in. Setting boundaries helps to protect your emotional well-being and ensures that you're investing your time in the relationships and activities that truly matter to you. By saying no to time wasters, you're saying yes to peace, to joy, and to the things that bring you fulfillment. In the end, I believe that protecting your time is a form of honoring your life and your journey. It's about not allowing people to dictate how you spend your days or how you feel. The more you protect your time, the more you protect your sense of self. You've earned the right to enjoy your later years with dignity and purpose. There's no room for those who refuse to show up on time, keep their promises, or respect your schedule. Don't let time wasters steal your moments. Instead, focus on those who bring value to your life. People who appreciate you, who honor your time, and who understand the value of the moments you share. After all, the way you spend your time defines the way you live your life. As we wrap up, I hope this video has helped you reflect on the importance of protecting your time and setting boundaries in your relationships, especially as we grow older. Time is precious, and every moment should be spent in ways that bring joy, fulfillment, and peace. So, what have you learned today? Is there a specific boundary you'll be setting or a time waster you'll be cutting out of your life? I'd love to hear what one thing you plan to bring into practice from this video. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this video, please leave your comment, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content on living a healthier, more fulfilled life. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.